here. Thank you all for being here on time, despite the rains and the traffic. Before we start the program, I would like to acknowledge the presence. With me over here is the President of the Filipino Indian Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Rex Darianani. Can we please give a round of applause? Also, we have the VP of International Affairs, Mr. Manish Matani. And of course, our special guest for this evening, the CEO and co-founder of Lazada Philippines, Mr. Inanc Balci. Before we start the program, I would like to call on Mr. Amar Daswani, the VP of Advocacy, to lead us into an opening prayer. May I request, I'm sorry to disturb your all dinner, but may I request everyone to please stand up, and also please remain standing for the Filipino and Indian national anthem. Mr. Amar, please.
Good evening. If I may request if we can close our eyes and just relax and get into the mood. Let's take a breath in and out. And let's take a few moments in silence to bring our hearts and minds to our personal God or Guru or whomever we are inspired by. As we are in their presence, may we be reminded and imbibed in all their great qualities. Let's bring into our attention everything we have been blessed with today. We are grateful for our family, friends, work, our health, the food, this very life, and the very ability we have to make the best of this precious moment we have been gifted. We are grateful that our necessities are fulfilled in abundance, and for the daily experiences to discover ourselves. We are grateful that we are together in this meeting to learn and grow from one another and be able to give this event our 100% attention and participation. And bless our speaker today for his time with us. May this meeting radiate peace through our thoughts, actions, and speech. And may we have the courage to stand for truth and for the good of all. And may we accept everyone, especially those who we don't want to. And may our intellect be clear with objective insight and wisdom to guide us towards long-term joy, happiness, and success for all. Thank you and God bless.
Once again, good evening, and thank you all for being here. My name is Roshan Daryani, and I'll be your host for this evening. To officially commence our program, may I please call on the President of the Filipino-Indian Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Rex Daryani, for some welcome remarks. Can we all please give him a round of applause?
Thank you, Roshan. Mr. Inanc Balci, our beloved past presidents, our dear new members, dear members of the FICCI, my colleagues on the board of directors, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. It is a great honor that I welcome each and every one of you to today's general membership meeting with our good friend, Lazada co-founder, Mr. Inanc Balci. Inanc, thank you very much for accepting my invitation to be our guest of honor and speaker. We truly appreciate your taking time out from your very busy and hectic schedule to be with us this evening. Our guest of honor will be properly introduced later on in the program. I would also like to thank our sponsor for this evening's event, My Great World. We look forward to working with you in the years to come. The changes that have occurred in the past 10 years is greater than the changes that have occurred in the last 100 years. Each minor advance creates, for the sake of argument, at least 4 other minor advances, which again each create another 4 minor advances. Imagine the multiplier effect every time a major advance is created. We can all expect this to continue at a much faster pace moving forward. This is something we must not take for granted and make sure that our businesses adjust to this lightning speed of change. As entrepreneurs, we are trained to scope out and assess the business landscape and adjust our business models accordingly. One of the greatest threats we face in this speed at which technology changes, more often than not, we may still be thinking of how to adjust our business models, yet technology has already moved way faster than the speed at which we can figure things out. What complicates this situation is the consumer has embraced all this new technology and has started to use it, leaving many of us further behind. Today, our guest of honor and speaker will share with us his experience and wisdom in relation to this situation we all face, with the hope that we will quickly embark on a fast-paced vehicle that will allow us to adjust swiftly and meaningfully to the change in the business environment. Finally, for those of us who were born before the 80s, it is important for us to acknowledge and listen to the views of the young ones and correlate this with the experience and wisdom we have gained and implement these changes in a way that considers all these aspects. I sincerely hope that you enjoy this event and that you leave this hall feeling enriched and excited to carry out major changes in your own respective companies, if you have not already done so. I am excited today as I think this is the first time that our chamber will experience a working dinner. I have always wondered what it would be like to actually get the program going while people are eating. And I thank Inanc today for making this a reality. And so let's make this work, and hopefully this can be a platform for future meetings. Once again, my deep gratitude to our guest of honor, Inanc Balci, for spending this evening with us. Thank you, Dhanyavad, maraming salamat po, mabuhay, and namaste.
Once again, another special thanks also to you, Mr. Rex Daryani, for indulging us in different avenues such as these. So thank you for coming up with creative, collaborative ideas also for us. I mean, the last Buddha Bar mixer was an immense success. Would you all agree? Great, thank you for the round of applause. All right, next up, of course, as we all know, Mr. Rex also slightly already informed us about the topic for this evening, as is announced in our invitation. The topic and the theme for tonight's GMM is about the e-commerce industry, the movements, the trends, and the latest happenings. So, of course, I will not preempt, but let me please call on the VP for the International Affairs, Mr. Manish Mathani, to please introduce our guest speaker as we move on with our working dinner. Can we have a round of applause for Mr. Manish, please? Thank you. Thank you.
Mr. Inanc Balci, esteemed past presidents, President Rex Haryanani, and fellow members of the FICCI board, members of the FICCI, and friends. It is my pleasure to introduce our guest speaker at our general membership meeting this evening. Our guest speaker, Mr. Inanc Balci, is a graduate of Purdue University in the United States, where he did a double major in industrial engineering and economics. After Purdue, he planned to work on Wall Street, but his graduation in 2008 coincided with the downturn of the US economy. After a short return to Turkey, he moved to London, where his first job was as an investment banker at Nomura. There, he did a 3-year stint specializing in mergers and acquisitions. According to Inanc, his entrepreneurial spirit was inherited from his parents, who operated a successful pharmacy in Istanbul. In February 2012, Inanc was invited to start up an e-commerce platform in Southeast Asia, which he accepted. From the world of financial wheeling and dealing, he moved on to the new horizon of online shopping. As you might have guessed, that e-commerce platform is Lazada Philippines. From Inanc's small startup team, his plantilla has grown to over 4,000 employees. Lazada, which means loop or bow in Spanish, set up its website 2 months after he launched operations. Inanc graciously accepted our invitation to share his story this evening. So without further delay, please join me in welcoming the CEO and co-founder of Lazada Philippines, Mr. Inanc Balci.
Hi everyone, my name is Inanc. Thank you for the good introduction. I want to first make some announcements before I start. Today is a very big day for Lazada because I officially announced that I will be stepping down as CEO of Lazada Philippines in the next 2 months. But I'll be joining Alibaba team. I'll be running a fintech venture capital firm for Jack Ma across Latin America and Southeast Asia. Now still based in Manila, and we will be part of the Lazada Philippines board of directors. But my executive position will be non-executive going forward. But today I'll be talking in the capacity of the CEO of Lazada Philippines. And in the upcoming days, I'll be talking in the capacity of a fintech, a financial technology venture capital investor. To start with the story of how I came here, thank you for the story. So I was an engineering student in the US. I graduated 2 months after Lehman Brothers went bankrupt with an offer from Lehman Brothers to start in their New York office. It was very unlucky. I felt very unlucky. It was the middle of financial disaster in the US. I really wanted to stay in the US. I applied to a lot of companies. And I even applied to a company that was in Indiana. It was an insurance broker. I even said, I want to stay here. I even applied for an insurance broker job. And because of my visa issue, I had to go back. I felt really, really bad. I felt very unlucky, life was very unfair. And then I had to go back to Turkey because of my visa issue. I met some people there, and then Lehman Brothers was acquired by Nomura, a Japanese investment bank, and I invited me to London. And I went there, I did 3 years of technology, media, telecom, mergers and acquisitions, covering continental Europe. And one night, I was sitting in the office, like our working hours were crazy. I used to go to the office every morning at 10 a.m. and I would stay until 3 a.m. or 4 a.m., 7 days a week. You get used to it after 2 years. Non-stop working. So one night I was in the office around like 6 p.m. I received an email telling me, there's this German guy, he wants to meet you. Can you come to this hotel? But only in the next 2 hours. And otherwise we'll go back to Germany. And I was going to have dinner anyways. I said, yeah, okay, I'll show up. I went to this hotel, I met this guy who was the founder of Rocket Internet, and we spoke for 20 minutes. I was a bit lucky because I was doing an investment theory for an American client on their businesses, so I knew their businesses inside out really well. And after 20 minutes, he asked me if I want to start Amazon in Southeast Asia. I said, yeah, sure. I mean, I went into the office, I quit the same night. I booked my tickets and I came here 2 weeks later, the first time in Asia. And it was very spur of the moment. It was such a shocking decision for me that I actually don't remember 100% how this happened. So it just happened. And I came here 2 weeks later. I didn't know anyone. I got a hotel. I found this law firm called Romulo. They were very helpful starting a company. And Oli, the owner of Rocket, just sent to my own bank account $10 million to start the company. I would just run away with the money. It was my bank account. I was not even a company there. And it was such an exciting opportunity for me. A lot of people do this. Rocket has over 200 companies across the world. So far, only 3 of them work. One of them Lazada, the other ones in Germany. So even getting this chance, I knew there was around 1.5–2% chance of making this happen. So, but we worked really hard. The thing is that this was such a big opportunity here. I always tell people, instead of us, if they had brought here donkeys, they would do the same thing. Because it was such a great opportunity. It's not the, I think, it's not the people that made this happen, maybe a little bit. But it was such an opportunity that I believe anyone would be able to bring it here. We started the company, all of us investment bankers or consultants with no idea about e-commerce. The only idea about retail or e-commerce we had was just purchasing stuff, either in the US or in the UK. And we thought in the beginning, wow, this is really not going to work. But then we realized that this was the exact reason why it worked, because instead of sending people who had no idea, if they sent here people who knew how to do this, they would run away. They would not try to do this. Because Southeast Asia is the most difficult e-commerce market in the world. Why? There are 3 reasons. Of those who listened to me before, I talked about this. I'll tell this very quickly. There is payments issue. The credit card penetration, bank penetration is very low. Then there is logistics issue. There is no proper logistics company in the Philippines. I'm sorry if anyone owns a logistics company here, but for e-commerce, it doesn't work. And the last thing is infrastructure. People don't have internet connection, or the ones that they have, it's very costly. So for us to be able to start a scalable and successful company, we had to address all of these issues. So what we did was we started a retail e-commerce company focusing on electronics, which means that we bought items ourselves, we put it in our warehouse, and every time someone bought something, we would sell it to these people. So I'll take a step back. This is actually not the first thing we did. When we first came here, what we did was, we went to Google, we searched for laptop, we took all the pictures, we put it on the website, I hired 20 people, they wrote content, we put that. We did laptops, cameras, mobile phones, etc. Every once someone bought something, I had these scrapers, I would send them to all shopping malls in the Philippines, they would try to find the items. We did this for 6 months. We had around 98% failure rate. We could only find 2% of the items. This was a crazy way of doing business. This would never work. But if you ask me today, would you do it the same way? I would do it exactly the same way, because it was very important for us to bootstrap the business. This is how we get the attention of people. Then second stage, we started a retail e-commerce company focusing on electronics. We buy the items, we sell it to the customers. In the beginning, it was so difficult. I would go to suppliers, I would tell them I would buy the items from you at market value. They wouldn't even want to sell us. They would say, I'm not interested in e-commerce. I don't know what you guys do. They wouldn't even sell us the items if you wanted to buy. So slowly, we hired some guys from the suppliers, from reputable companies. We built a strong team and we started buying items. And we started growing Lazada. We started in electronics, then we got into fashion, health and beauty, other categories. And in 2014, 2 years after we started, we pivoted into a marketplace platform. The difference is that the retail e-commerce is sort of like a store in a shopping mall that sells, like a department store. The marketplace is like the shopping mall that all these stores are selling on the platform. So today, Lazada is a marketplace platform. The majority of the sales, around 70% of the sales, are coming from marketplace sellers, and around 30% of the sales are coming from Lazada retail sales. It's a combination. It was very important for us to switch to a marketplace platform because we could have endless products. Today we have around 70 million products on Lazada Philippines. SM has 800,000 products. We have 70 million products on the website. And you don't have to deploy your working capital into your inventory rather than putting money into inventory you would spend on marketing. You could have endless warehouse space because the items are with our merchants and many other things. It was difficult to start a company as a marketplace. That's why we had to go through these stages. And around 2 years ago, we started a cross-border marketplace platform in which the merchants are located abroad in China, Hong Kong, Korea, US, all around the world. And today, that accounts around 20% of the sales that when the customer goes to the website, they can buy from these places. So, going back to the difficulties, how did we create this company while a lot of other people failed to do it? So those 3 challenges are extremely important. The first one, the payments. We created the first nationwide cash-on-delivery network in the Philippines. Because if there is no electronic money, if there is no credit card, how are you going to collect the money, right? So there are 2 ways of using cash. The first one is, you can tell the customer, go to the website, you have 24 hours to go to this 7-Eleven or whatever, and make the payment, and after you make the payment, I'll send your item. I hate this. I think it's not e-commerce. So we said, yeah, I'm gonna do this. So what we did was, we tried a difficult thing. We wanted to cash on delivery. So we created the first network together with a lot of third-party logistics companies. We looked at similar companies around the world, and we created this thing that didn't really work in the beginning. We had 60% failed delivery rate. We could only deliver 4 items out of 10. The customer was not there, the money was not there, there was no change, etc. We did 100 things over the last 7 years to fix this. And today we deliver with around 96% accuracy. Only 4% of the items are not delivered to the customer, obviously depending on the category. And we will further continue investing into this. This cost us, for example, in the Philippines around $100 million just to improve cash on delivery over 7 years. The investment that we had to do in order to create a billion-dollar company. And this is only one of them. Another challenge was logistics. The logistics companies in the Philippines doesn't work for e-commerce, especially for marketplace. Every day we pick up packages from tens of thousands of merchants. Every morning, every day. And then these packages come to our sorting center, hundreds of thousands of packages. They get sorted, and then they go to the last mile. They get delivered to the customer. So I tried to do this with the logistics companies here. It didn't work. We tried one of them, we tried the other giants, and then it was a disaster. So we learned that in order to accomplish, in order to have a scalable, successful, long-term company, we had to do logistics ourselves. So I got 10 motorcycles, it became 20, 50, 100. Today we have over 3,000 vehicles in the Philippines and around 20,000 vehicles across Southeast Asia. We are the second largest logistics company in the Philippines. I think the third largest across Southeast Asia. So we have to go outside of the box. Like if you're an e-commerce company, it's very counterintuitive to do something outside of e-commerce. You have to focus on your business. But for us, we wouldn't be able to focus on our business if we didn't do this. So we started this, we invested around $200 million in the Philippines into our infrastructure, into technology, into the warehouses, sorting centers, etc. And today we built something that's not perfect. I mean, we still, some of the items always get lost, sometimes it takes too much time. But we have same-day delivery, for example. If you order before 2 p.m. for the items coming from the warehouse, we deliver the same day in Metrolinda. Other items we deliver next day. Even in the remotest islands, we try to deliver within 3 to 5 days. So it ended up really quite well. And the last thing was the infrastructure, technology, internet. So it's something you cannot fix, right? We need Globe, we need Smart, we need PIDT, these companies to fix this. But you cannot let other companies define your future. So what we did was, we focused on mobile commerce. We said we are not going to do e-commerce, we are going to do e-commerce. So we focused on the smartphone, we focused on the future phone, we built a mobile ecosystem with iOS app, Android app, mobile website, tablet optimized website. And we did it exactly the same way our normal website is. So today, whatever device you use, even if your telco load is very limited, we have partnerships with Globe and Smart, you don't get charged for data when you use Lazada. And this was how we addressed these issues. And today, all of this effort with tens of thousands of people across Southeast Asia, and recently we sold the rest of the company, so they own 84% of what they own now, for a transaction at $4.5 billion, actually the largest transaction in Southeast Asia. We feel very grateful, but at the same time, this is super early days of e-commerce and Lazada in the Philippines. It's 1.5% e-commerce penetration. It's going to be 25, maybe 30%. So Lazada and total e-commerce is going to be 20 times larger. If you are selling on Lazada today, it's nothing. It's nothing. It's China 10 years ago. Your sales, if you are not successful, if you suck, it's going to increase 20 times. If you are successful, you can increase it 100 times. Today we have a lot of sellers in Lazada that even in this small environment, they make over $1 million a month sales in Lazada Philippines, because they take very good advantage of the opportunity that we provide to them. We raised so far around $5 billion that we are spending like there is no tomorrow to our customers and to our sellers. So all of you need to take advantage of this. Every time there is a delivery to a customer, we subsidize around 60% of their cost. Every time there is marketing, we subsidize 100% of the marketing cost. I mean, sometimes people say, yeah, it's expensive, etc. There are other players that are not charging commission, etc. Yeah, I mean, there is a way of doing it sustainably. We are trying to create a business here, and then there is a way of doing it unsustainable. If you don't have your own logistics, it will never work. Today, Philippines logistics is 110% capacity, excluding Lazada Express, are in-house. So we have a very long-term view of the environment, especially after Ayurveda came in. The way we look at the business has significantly changed. We used to be very short-term in terms of decision making. Now we look at the next 10 years, the next 5 years, 10 years, the next 20 years. For example, Jack Ma looks at, he wants Alibaba to be 102 years old, because it started at 1999. He wants it to be 3 centuries long. So obviously our vision is not as big as Jack Ma, but we also want to look at it as long-term business, and we want to turn it into a sustainable business. This is why, for example, Lazada is charging a commission, which, by the way, we will not be charging commission for our marketplace sales very soon. That will be announced for a limited period, for a couple of years. But the kind of business that we want to create here is that in the early days like this, it's easy, means nothing. But if you don't have a big infrastructure that's supporting the business, that is sustainable in long term, then you can never grow the e-commerce market in the country. And my aim since the first day of the business was not to make money for myself, etc. But as Lazada, we didn't only start a company, but we started an industry in the Philippines specifically. And yes, we started and we had the ball rolling, but it's up to entrepreneurs like you guys to be part of this opportunity to take Philippines to the next level, at the same time take advantage of it. And I call it the biggest entrepreneurial opportunity so far that came to Philippines, because with almost no extra capital expenditure, you can take advantage of these huge customer base. There are over 10 million customers that are paying every month to Lazada. So this is the Philippine story, sort of. And another thing before I finish, a lot of people ask me, Lazada is competing with us, etc. So the moment we turn into a marketplace platform, we don't compete with anyone in the Philippines. Lazada or any other e-commerce platform is an additional sales channel for all the businesses in the Philippines. Because if you open a store, your potential customers are only those that pass in front of your store. But if you open up to the internet, all e-commerce, all internet users and people who know these internet users are your potential customers. You cannot open a store in all 7,000 islands in the Philippines, right? What we provide to businesses is that we open up this huge potential. It becomes an additional channel. You open up a store in the cloud that anyone can reach, so that we make Philippines economy more efficient. We make it better for everyone in the Philippines. So this is basically the Philippines story. We started the same company in 5 other countries as well. We are in Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand, Vietnam, Philippines, and Singapore. And we are looking forward to opening in some other countries too. We are super excited the way it started, and looking forward to making Philippines one of the largest e-commerce companies in the world. I 100% believe in the future of Philippines, because Philippines used to be the SMS capital of the world. People love communicating. Today, Philippines is the social media capital of the world. It has the world's highest Facebook penetration in terms of internet users. And the way it goes is, it used to be SMS capital. It's now the social media capital. It's going to be the e-commerce capital of the world. There's no question. Today, at the top of the world, there's China around 22% e-commerce penetration. Philippines, for sure, will be high. Because China is not better than Philippines in terms of any other social media, any other communication, any other technology. What we need to do together is that you guys need to put all your products online at reasonable prices to the customers. We need to provide the service, the logistics, the payment options, the technology, which is coming very strong from Alibaba over the last 2 years. And then we take it to the next level, and we turn this into a great business opportunity for everyone in the Philippines. So thank you. I think we'll do Q&A now.
Alright, can we give another round of applause to Mr. Inanc Balci, please? I'm sure we all had some very invaluable insights taken out from your speech a little earlier. Amazing to see that you don't even need a PowerPoint presentation. You know all of this by heart. It's good. Thank you again once. Well, of course, we very much appreciate your presence over here, and I'm sure our audience tonight has a lot of questions in mind. We flashed the number on the screen there, so if anyone have any questions that you would like to ask, please feel free while we still have Mr. Inanc here. Of course, to facilitate the question and answer portion, I would like to call on the VP for Internal Affairs, Mr. Ravi Santani.
Thanks, Roshan. Thank you, Inanc. We now move on to the question and answer portion. There are 2 ways to send in your questions. You can either write them down. You'll find pieces of paper and pens on the table. And we have our secretariat staff here who will go around collecting the questions. Another way is to send them by SMS. We have a number flashed on the screen. I would advise you to send them as quickly as possible, because we have limited time and we may not be able to read all the questions we receive. To start off, Inanc, you mentioned that the e-commerce penetration rate in the country today has a lot of potential, considering that we have about 63 million Facebook users, if I got my facts correctly. How many more or less customers does Lazada currently have, and what are growth prospects for Lazada, considering that we have so many Facebook users in the country.
Yeah, so there are 63 million monthly active Facebook users in the Philippines, and there are around 12 million today Lazada customers, and they have 75% market share. So they roughly put it around 60 million total customers, and compare it to total user base, it's nothing. But it will not, the growth will not only come from the number of people that are using it, but it will also come from the repurchase rate. These people will buy more often online, and they will increase their basket size, they will buy more every time they buy, and this is how the e-commerce industry will grow. In terms of growth, if we cannot grow our business 3 times year-over-year, we cannot sleep at night. This is the way we look at the business. I mean, in terms of peso value, the number of orders, etc. Since there's a huge potential, this will continue growing over the last couple of in the next years. Especially now that Alibaba is more involved in the business, we have a lot of new tech tools coming from Alibaba. They will further accelerate the growth of the company.
Thank you. What percentage of the sales are done on cash on delivery versus credit cards today?
80%.
80% on cash.
80%.
Do you see the credit card usage growing in the future?
So, I don't think it's going to grow. This is the main reason now I'm going into fintech. So, when Jack Mawasi, we were able to discuss this issue. I think the next big thing that's going to hit Southeast Asia is going to be the transformation in financial technology. I think the cash on delivery will strongly decline, but it will not be captured by credit card, but it will be other modes of electronic payments that hasn't worked yet. I think none of the electronic payment wallets, etc. in the Philippines, I don't think they make sense. There are 2 things that make a wallet successful and important. The first one is the use case. You need to be able to use your money everywhere, right? Why would you trap your money in a wallet if you cannot use it wherever you go? And the second one is frictionless money in, money out, which is very difficult in the Philippines. If I want to send someone money over bank, you have to go to the bank together, etc. So I will be trying to solve these issues with fintech companies across the region. And if we can accomplish, like we did in Lazada, then I think these new payment methods will take over and will accelerate the decline of cash on delivery.
How are you able to protect consumers from defective products? What is your policy on returns?
So we always get criticized by our merchants that we are very customer friendly, because in any way if the customer is not happy with a product, they can return the item. If it's a defective item, it's a fake item, if it's not delivered on time. For the items that are coming from Lazada, even there is no reason to return. You buy something from Lazada retail, you can return it whenever you want. And we made it free of charge to return. You can go to any LBC branch, you can say, this is for Lazada, and then you just leave. We pay for the return shipping fee. Like for example, I was explaining before, if you are buying shoes from Lazada, you are not exactly sure which, if you are going to be 42, 43, 44. Some customers order all of them. They try at home and they return the 2 that doesn't fit into their feet. So people take advantage of it, but this is exactly what we need. This is our mindset. We are not trying to be profitable in the next 10 years, because there is a very quickly growing industry here that we are investing into our customers. For example, I always get criticized in the way that we spend money. People call us, you guys are idiots, you guys are spending so much money, where is all this money going, it will never be sustainable, etc. This is the old way of thinking. We don't look at our P&L and we are growing a business. If I want to be profitable, I can be profitable in half an hour. I'll just tell you guys to increase the commission, etc. But our job is to grow the market here. We are trying to create a $100 billion company, not just a $4 billion company. This is the kind of bets that we take. We invest into our customers, we invest in heavy marketing, we invest in returns, defective products, into subsidizing merchant deliveries, into trying ideas that seem crazy and some of them work. And this is the way we grow companies like this very quickly, not just Lazada, but like we created Lazada Express. We had another company called HelloPay. It's an electronic payments company that we sold to Alipay in a separate transaction, and Alipay rebranded it and rolling it out across 6 markets. And we have some other companies that you haven't heard before that failed because we try a lot of things. But this is the way that we look at business. And I think this is the way that is correct way going forward. Looking at, yes, profits are important in the long term. Everyone wants to create sustainable company in the long term. But if you're in an industry that's growing very fast, I think the best way to do is to invest in your market. Like, we are at the factory. Like, if I was manufacturing shoes, for example, I would have to invest in land, machinery, a building, etc. We don't have any of those. And rather than investing in those, we invest in the market and grow it as fast as we can.
How are you able to protect merchants from fake products? Let me give you an example. There is a company who is paying royalties for a brand. And so he's the legitimate licensee for this product. And he is supplying these products through Lazada. And next thing he knows, there's somebody else selling the identical product with the same brand on Lazada. Is there a way you can screen your vendors and your merchants so that you weed out these illegitimate vendors?
Just because someone has a license, this exclusive distributorship license to something, doesn't mean that he has the right, he's the only one to sell it. I understand that almost all of you are in this situation today, but we discussed this before as well. I explained the reason. So that license gives the right to be the only one to buy that brand in the Philippines. Someone else can go to another country or import that item into the Philippines and can sell it. Like, for example, you in the US, you can go to eBay, you buy something, you can sell it second hand. You buy something, you never use it, you can sell it first hand. So all of the open platforms across the world, like Lazada, will always let these parallel importers, everyone, sell their products. But this doesn't mean that exclusive distributors have exclusive rights. So one of the first things is we are 100% against fake products. If we identify a product is a fake product, we immediately take it down, and we don't want people selling fake products. But there can be identical products that are coming from other areas that we encourage people. In the end, the customer, I believe, and this is happening today, will buy from the local exclusive distributor. 99% of the case, because we let local exclusive distributors put badges on their products. We let them have branded stores on Lazada, and they provide better service to the customer. This will reflect not on day one, not on maybe 2 months, 3 months, but in the long term, with the reviews that the customer leaves, with the prices that you can offer to the customer. I mean, obviously, if you are having too much profit, it may not reflect, but e-commerce is a low profit, high volume business. And with these things, with your official store, with the exclusive things that we give to the merchants, their sales will be significantly higher. This we already see in fashion, health and beauty, and FMCG categories today. There are a lot of cross-border sellers, there are a lot of small-time sellers. They bring items into the Philippines, they try to sell. Yes, they sell 2 items, 3 items, you see their products, but those products are not selling. So the companies, the exclusive distributors who believe in e-commerce, who believe that it's going to be a big part of their business, who wants to invest in e-commerce business, they need to take a long-term view and continue executing this strategy so that in the long term they are going to win. If we limit it today, the downside is that the e-commerce growth in the country will be significantly lower. The Filipino customers will be negatively impacted by this.
Is there anything being done to ensure the success rate of cash on delivery sales done? Because as you mentioned earlier, there are cases when the goods are delivered and the cash isn't available or the person isn't around. And this really hurts vendors. So what is being done to address this?
So can you repeat the beginning part?
Yes, the cash on deliveries.
Yeah.
Yes.
So cash on delivery is a very important part of the business. What we call is a necessary evil. 80% of the business is cash on delivery. If you don't today offer cash on delivery, Lazada would be a teeny tiny company. I wouldn't be speaking here today. We wouldn't be able to grow the e-commerce industry in the Philippines, and we would be in Stone Age. So one of the reasons e-commerce is growing at this rate is because we offer cash on delivery. It's a very difficult thing to do. Like I said, we lost over $100 million trying to do this. And we are still improving this at 96% successful delivery rate. We need to improve it further. I agree it will take many more years because the infrastructure in the Philippines is very, very difficult. You need to see this sort of like cost of doing business. Because if we didn't have this cost, that would be a business.
Did you say the success rate now is 96%?
96%.
That's quite good. Raj has some questions from the floor. Raj.
Hi, Nash. The next question is, what is your view on fintech services since you're moving to that industry and your views on blockchain?
I think it's super early for blockchain. I think it's not even worth talking about it. I think it's going to take another 10 years. Everyone is so excited because people made a lot of money on crypto, but I think the time isn't there yet. So I am very bullish on two things. One of them is payments, the other one is lending. I think microloans, SME loans, B2B lending, P2P lending, it already started with some small scale steps across the region. We want to bring scale into these activities. We want to make it much bigger across the region. These are the two things that I'll be focusing on.
Thank you. And how do you see the startup culture in the Philippines in terms of raising capital?
Still very, very early days. The most of the capital is in Indonesia, as I'm sure all of you guys know. The market is small because, like I said before, it's very difficult to kickstart a startup in the country. Why? Because capital is not available. A normal Filipino doesn't have access to capital most of the time. So it requires a lot of changes in the country. It started very well in Indonesia. I believe that it will come to Philippines very strongly in the next 2-3 years. I think all of you will positively benefit from this. And I'm so much looking forward to that. I encourage all of you to support startups, Filipino startups. There will be a lot of billion-dollar companies coming out of Philippines.
Which other e-commerce website would you consider your biggest competitor in the Philippines?
So our biggest competitor is Shopee. Although it's not the same business model, it's a C2C website. They are doing a pretty good job in terms of getting a lot of customers. The differences are like we provide an infrastructure that we believe that will make the business sustainable in the long term. Our competitors did not start this, and it takes around 5 years to build this infrastructure. I think it's quite easy to do like 50,000 orders a day. Once you start doing 100,000 orders a day, it becomes very, very difficult. So we are very comfortable, and we have the full support of Alibaba. They recently injected another $2 billion into the company 3 months ago. They will be spending on technology and logistics infrastructure in order to make our the strong parts of Lazada further stronger. And basically, I don't think there is any other e-commerce company.
What are your thoughts on Amazon entering the Philippine market?
But I was always saying I would love Amazon to come here because I would love to beat them so much. Amazon is a company that works on existing infrastructure. For Amazon to work, there has to be a very good logistics infrastructure, a lot of credit cards, a lot of electronic payments. If that is the case, it will work. I think if they go to Malaysia today, it will work very well. In Singapore, we thought it would work, actually it didn't work. And if they come to Philippines, I think they will struggle the first 5 years, then they will be really good. So they need I think Lazada or Shopee or any other company will have a 5-year headway. But now with Alibaba being 100% involved in the business, I think it would be amazing to watch from outside.
Will Philippine vendors, merchants be allowed to sell cross-border, sell to other countries as well?
Yes, yes. So this is one of the biggest news. All of you very soon can list all your products on Lazada Philippines, and you'll be able to sell across 6 markets. And as the next step, you'll be able to sell in China as well. So as you know, there are 600 million e-commerce users in China, and Alibaba will be opening this channel. So we start with 2 special zones, one in Thailand and one in Malaysia. It's called DFTZ, Digital Free Trade Zone. Jack Ma opened it. What we do today is that we started small scale. There are large FMCG companies like Unilever, for example. They've been leaving their items in Malaysia and Thailand warehouses, and it will be fulfilled across the region. And we will be opening this up to everyone, hopefully next year. You don't have to worry about anything. Just leave your items in one of the Lazada warehouses. Anyone across the whole Asia, hopefully Pakistan and other countries following suit, you'll be able to buy. I think this is so big, I cannot even think how many additional orders this will generate. One of the things for export to work is, as you know, it needs to be manufactured efficiently. So Philippines is a service-based economy, so we need to find those products that you can manufacture competitively across the world, so that there will be demand in other countries for these products. So this is how we will start it. And also very successful traders who work on volume business will be able to successfully sell their products across the world.
I'm putting together a number of questions that are coming repeatedly, and one of the topics that have come up as well, everybody seems quite happy with the growth in the Lazada business. There is also a growing concern that the support services have began to decline, either from the back-end vendor system. We have a number of questions asking about dedicated account officers. So how do you plan to address all these concerns with regard to vendor management?
So this is an Alibaba strategy that we employ. It's a very big change for the company that we started 3 months ago. We completely, Alibaba over the last 6 months has completely rebuilt the Lazada infrastructure. It looks exactly the same to you, but it was recoded from ground zero, so that we could integrate more and more things into Alibaba support structure. If you look at Alibaba, they 100% focus on their own business, and they use third parties for any kind of activity. All of their costs in their P&L is done by a third party. Today we use BPOs, etc. In the future, for everything you'll be using third parties that will create an ecosystem around the company. In China, it's called Taobao Partners, TP. And some of these TPs, they listed on New York Stock Exchange over $1 billion valuation just by serving Alibaba in China. So this is a great business opportunity for all of you guys to get into as well. So what we do today is we shifted into Alibaba model, and yes, when you have changes like this, the change management is very important. Not everything works perfectly in the infrastructure that we have in the Philippines. Going forward, for example, for most of the accounts, we are not going to have account managers. All of these will be automated. So you won't need someone in Lazada. It's not that we are not going to do anyone, but you have all the tools yourself, and you will not need to spend time talking to anyone in Lazada, exactly like they do in China. But in the beginning, in this phase that we are changing the company, yes, it is difficult time to time, but everything is improving every day, and we are actually quite happy the way it is going.
So you actually automatically answered the next question about having account managers. So in the near future, you feel that that will also be eliminated?
Some accounts will have account managers. So our target is to have 100,000 sellers in Philippines by the end of the year. We can't have 10,000 account managers. We can't have 1,000 account managers. So we have to automate these things. So scalability is very important. Sustainable scalability is important, very important in any business. And for us to reach this size, we have to automate most of our processes, and this is part of it. yes, there will be account managers. If the business is large, if you need an account manager, you have an account manager. But then the long tail of the business will be automated.
But in the case that you need to really escalate something, what's the next step when it's beyond the actual automated processing?
Yeah, I mean, if you cannot figure out the automated process, then we have a process. It's sort of like a call center for merchants. Then we can reach out to these people. We also recently took this out of house, so this is being done by BPOs. This is something new for Philippine BPOs as well. It's a learning process, and as time goes by, they will be able to handle the issues more quickly and better. Like for example, this account management is one of the things that we will offer to exclusive distributors in the Philippines. Like it is, yes, when I talk about it, I say the parallel import, blah, 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 that's for the customer. But even when you look at Alibaba, the core of our business is our sellers. Number one KPI for us is our sellers making more money. And so that they satisfy our customers. And we know that the people that will satisfy our customers are exclusive distributors. And exclusive distributors are the ones that will have account managers, they will have first access to best tools, they will have reports, they will have everything so that they can succeed in this business. But why we allow the people to sell as well? Because we want this business to grow very fast. They will help you guys in the next maybe 1 year or 2 years to grow the business. Then the customer will understand where they are buying from, and they will buy from the distributors, etc. But in this transition stage, which is not big, in the next 2 years, while we increase e-commerce penetration from 1.5%, maybe 5%, we need this. We saw this happening in other countries. If we become restricted, this is never going to work. So this is a phase that we need to follow, and during this phase, these are the sort of things that will support companies like you, so that we believe that we see that in China, these are the companies that will be winning in the end.
Or brand that you currently aren't carrying that you wish Lazada could have sold?
Yes, so we will get into groceries, hopefully, either in the end of the year or early next year. Grocery e-commerce is the most difficult kind of e-commerce because you have to deliver peaches or a frozen food in like 2 hours. It's like I cannot sell a frozen food if I can deliver in 2 hours, right? So, however, before being able to do that, we need very strong logistics. And in the Philippines, it's still not strong, it's far away. We are still investing into it. We wanted to come to a specific level so that we can satisfy the customer and the awareness. So we will go into, again, groceries. We want to improve our service with large items, bulky items. We want to sell more bulky items. We will get into providing services like if you buy, for example, an AC, someone needs to install it. And it's quite difficult with third-party partners. And these are the kind of areas that we want to get in.
Yeah, related to that, is the traffic condition in Manila considered a pro or a con for your business?
Both. So if you look at it a bit short-sighted, like you can say that, yeah, there's traffic, people don't want to go to shopping malls anymore. It's too much traffic. Like sometimes I say, I'm not going to go to the shopping mall. But in the end, most people do like that. Today, 98.5% of retail is still offline. Offline is the key. I mean, even if e-commerce is extremely successful, still 70% of retail will be offline. Offline will never go anywhere. And of that 30% that's through e-commerce, 99% of it will be coming from the offline players as well as an additional channel. So offline will always be the key. But in terms of traffic, I think less people will be going to shopping malls. I think they will be called entertainment malls going forward, not shopping malls, because people will go there to look around, to have food, etc., to see the products. And then on the negative side, I mean, we're running logistics operations, we don't like traffic. we lose money and we lose time and less traffic. So in that, I don't see it as a very important factor that impacts our business, but just a hygiene factor that we need to live with.
Personally, last Christmas I did all my shopping online on Lazada because I didn't want to have to deal with traffic and parking in the malls. Rush?
Your statements on the parallel issue actually generated a number of follow-up questions.
Yeah, it's very, I'm very aggressive, yes. I expect, yes.
So I'd like to just discuss some of those follow-up questions.
Yeah.
While it's clear your policy about really supporting the official distributor with the banners and all, at the same time, even for the year or two that the parallel is still alive, there are chances where the brand diminishes its value if a customer gets a hold of a fake item or an inferior product.
Yeah, fake item, you never allow fake items. So let's not mix fake items and parallel items. I'm only talking about 100% genuine items. Someone else either buys from the local distributor and reselling it, or bringing from abroad, selling 100% genuine item. Parallel means genuine item. We are not going to sell any fake items.
Yes, but again, in the event that you're not clear that it's a fake item or it looks as original as possible, but when it arrives, it's inferior in either quality or production. The first person to get affected is not Lazada necessarily, but it's the brand first. The brand loses its image because they thought that this brand stood for a certain value, a certain quality. How do you protect that?
Yeah, I understand. So there are different kinds of customers. So Lazada gets affected really bad when there is a fake item because the value of the fake item comes out of my pocket. Every time there's a fake sale, I 100% subsidize that item. I give the customer the money and I give them vouchers. I on average lose 150% of the value and it's a fake item. The customers, when they buy from Lazada, 100% of the case takes the blame. For example, one of the reasons people sell to Lazada is that Lazada acts as a buffer in between. Sometimes the items that are coming from local manufacturers, etc., it may also not be up to quality standard, but like some items, for example, there is a X% of items that may be defective, etc. Even in that case, we take the blame. We apologize from the customer, we give them their money back, we give them vouchers, and we make sure that the customer gets their money. In the end, it's difficult to 100% eliminate this, but we are working towards this.
Regarding what you just said,
Hello.
you're talking about compensation to the customer.
So which one?
You're talking about compensation to the customer,
Yes.
right? For fake items. But what about the owner of the brand? And we work very hard to develop a reputation. Now you have another company who's selling that product. It's a fake product. And he's very unhappy with that product, right?
Yeah, we don't support
And I
any
find out that you
fake
gave him
products.
that product. I found out that you gave him that product. You allowed that product, which is fake. Maybe you didn't know it was fake, but the fact is you allowed it to be sold to that customer. And it affected the reputation of my brand because now he thinks that my brand is it's not a good quality brand.
What we want is everyone to sell their products online, and we have 70 million products. So what we do is that, yes, maybe one customer gets affected by it, but the moment we know that a specific person is selling products that he's not supposed to sell, fake products, we take those products down, and we take down the merchant as well. So we are a very brand-friendly company. If you look at the brands in the Philippines, we work with the largest brands in the world, Unilever, P&G, all of these brands. We had the same conversation with them as well.
Can I make a suggestion? You since you're new, you've only been here 1 or 2 years, right? Maybe 3 years.
7 years.
7 years, okay. We've done business here for 100 years, as long as that, okay? And the stores that we sell to, right? They understand this exact situation that I'm discussing with you this very moment. And those stores don't keep fake brands anymore. Whenever they realize that the brand does not come from the distributor, they don't want to touch it. And the reason is because they've already experienced exactly what I'm telling you about. So I'm just I'm just giving a suggestion to you.
Yeah, thank you for your suggestion.
Yeah,
I
be
appreciate
extra
your
cautious
suggestion.
because
Thank you.
stores have learned from actual experience. I've been here many years, right? And you don't need that. You don't need that small business that's coming from these people.
Yeah, true. So I appreciate your
So I
experience
suggest that
and
you
thank
take
you
the
for the
lesson,
suggestion.
yeah.
Yes.